I thought that it might be helpful if I walked us through a quick little video. There are going to be lots of components combined with our service learning project that we will do throughout the entire semester. So just bear with me as we begin with the end in mind in Module 12 and our service learning. So this is what we call our key message card. I know that it's a little bit small. You have seen this hopefully in Module 1 or even through AAFCS. But when you think about what is family and consumer sciences, you think about, living well, taking care of families, taking care of people, finances, nutrition. All of those things combined together equate to family and consumer sciences. And so when you think about service learning, this directly ties into what we do. And let me show you how. So if you look on that key message card, the value is through making meaningful contributions to our communities because we have the research and education in order to do so. So that is where service learning directly ties in. If you think about the content areas and the practice settings that you'll find FCS professionals in, one of those things is going to be community education, which is what we're looking at now. Some of you have been familiar in the past with cooperative extension. Some of you don't know what that is. And so I hope this semester you learn what that is. And through our service learning project, you may have an opportunity to create something that you would create if you were a cooperative extension agent. So that's kind of how this is all fitting. In this, I can talk about the history of our profession and the purpose, etc., forever. But I hope this kind of helps you identify kind of my why and that driving factor into why I want you to get involved in service learning as your capstone. I'm trying to really give you that light bulb moment of why this matters and how we're going to apply it to this class. And so these are just some things that you could take away from service learning and FCS and how this works together. It helps you hopefully become prepared for your career field and possibly to just be good consumers and citizens in our communities that you'll live in. This gives you an opportunity to work with other students who may be from a different background than you, who may have different life experiences. And this is also going to be something that works out perfect when it comes to the benefit the community partner will get and you as the student in the class. So these are our course objectives taken directly from our syllabus, and I've highlighted some of those things that you're going to see that directly tie to service learning. That is why it is going to be a massive part of your grade this semester, and also why we are starting with the end in mind so that we can actually accomplish all these things by the end. These are just some general guidelines if you're doing service learning. Since most of you will not be in person, some of these won't apply, but we do have a group that might be in person, so I'm going to still cover all of them. Obviously, being responsible, asking for help, abiding by the rules. If you make a commitment to your group and your team is kind of what I'm calling it, make sure you maintain that. If you are on time and punctual, you're much more likely to be successful in your group settings. If you're going to be late or absent, something comes up, make sure that you communicate that. And then also the privacy of others, making sure that you respect that. Okay. Make sure that you value and respect the diversity in either the project or the group that you're working with, and understand that connection between this course and the project. Try and make that connection. It makes it a lot better. Be mindful of your attitude and your manners, especially if you're online. Sometimes that can come across a little bit different than in person. And then if you are going to be in person, be mindful of how your appearance may look. Be put together, take a shower, etc. And then being flexible. That's probably the hardest part because things are going to happen. This is the first time doing this for some of you. So be flexible and understanding, but also hold yourself accountable as well as your group. Remember that you are a representative not only of yourself, but also myself, the FCS program, and UCA. So I really want this to overall just be a fun experience, that you learn something. There are going to be stressful moments, but that's something that we are going to work through as a team. Obviously, these are sometimes going to apply more for in-person, these next few, but don't conduct your project under the influence of alcohol or drugs. We want to make sure that we have clear minds in order to complete these projects, especially if we're working in person with partners. Don't give or loan money or personal belongings to anyone at your partner site. Shouldn't probably apply to any of the things that we're doing, but just in case, we'll cover all of our grounds. Don't make promises or commitments you can't, that's supposed to say team. Commitments that you or your team can't keep. Don't give anyone a ride. Don't tolerate verbal exchange of a sexual nature. Don't engage in any kind of behavior that might be perceived as sexual with a client or a community partner or a team member. Be mindful of your language and your dress. Be aware that not everyone is going to appreciate language that you may use, and so make sure that we're professional in that sense. If something pops up, do not hesitate to reach out to me if you are at all uncomfortable at any point during this project. When it comes to making sure that our behavior is where it should be, keep in mind that this in our college is a no harassment zone. Like, we do not tolerate it. And so I just want you to be respectful to one another and professional in the way that you behave. So now the fun part. That's the serious part. Now the fun part. What are our project opportunities this semester? So we have an indirect and a direct service learning project. And what that means is indirect, you will not be in person actually conducting an event. If you are direct, you will be in person conducting an event. This is where that service learning interest survey comes into play. What you pick there is going to directly reflect what your project is that you do. So Our House, this is some pictures from their website, and then also I included their mission here, but they are a homeless or near homeless organization that helps families and individuals. They help them with, anything from after school programs. They have a little shop that people can come and shop at to support families, work readiness, career readiness, trying to help individuals. If they're not on their feet, get back on their feet. And if they are on their feet but just struggling, try to help them along. And so for Our House, what we're going to do, we'll be creating curriculum for an after school program that they run. And it is for children kindergarten through like 18 years old. So we're talking all age ranges. You will conduct a needs assessment to determine what type of curriculum is needed and communicate through me with our House representative. And so that's kind of what you'll be responsible for if you do the indirect option. If you are doing the direct option, you'll be responsible for participating in the Community Health Fair for Older Adults, which is on April 15th, 2023. There are several tasks that you will be given for this project. It is going to be really cool because you get to see the outcome of the project. You get to see that play out in real life at the fair on April 15th. So kind of just some overview, like basic ideas here. These are kind of the big five, but there are tons of tiny steps in between. So I call those your mini milestones. But this way it can allow me to assess kind of a consistent assessment across no matter what project you're doing. So we've got a needs assessment, a planning document, and then your project implementation, your reflections. You've got a pre and a post reflection, and then you'll also do evaluations. I don't think we're going to be doing the community evaluations this semester, but you will do evaluations of yourself and your team. And then you'll have a final presentation that you give during the end of this semester once we have wrapped up your projects. So you can see here the point values, kind of like how they're broken up. I realize that my picture is covering up the E. I promise it's there. But milestones 1, 2, 3, and 4, with 4 being kind of the culmination. Milestone 2 is really the part where you're implementing and getting the bulk of the content for that. So pre and post reflections, those are either written or provided through oral delivery, kind of like in a podcast style. So those prompts are located in Blackboard in Module 12. So kind of recapping, you've got your reflections. The hours will be documented in Blackboard through a document. And then this is a team project, and don't forget you're being evaluated. We'll do pre and post for sure, but then I'll also conduct a few in progress check-ins just to make sure everything is going well. Like I said, you'll document this in Blackboard in a document, your hours, so that we can kind of keep up with the community we have through those hours. Don't forget that this is an individual learning and a team learning experience. You'll be evaluated by your teammates, but it's not a same grade for every group. It will matter that you do your part of the project. Okay, that's where those individual and team evaluations come in. So now what? Make sure that you filled out the Service Learning Interest Survey, which is in the online classroom. I'll match you and place you in a Google Drive group that will have an overview of your project. Don't forget to complete your Service Learning pre-reflection and then review those guidelines, and I'll share contact information with each group shortly. I'm really excited about this project, and I look forward to seeing what you can accomplish. Now let's get started.